Are back with PowerWash Simulator. Hope nothing goes wrong this time. It seems our little town is going up in the world. Muckingham Skate Park has been chosen to host the next county championships. Ordinarily, I leave the sullen types to roll around on their own filth, as is their wont. What? I think somebody needs to work on their spelling. But if it's getting in the papers and on TV, we can't have people seeing all that grime and funny writing, so I want you to hit it with everything you've got. Alright, will do. Let's start this job.
I cannot join you yet.
Hang on, I'm working on it. And co-op on, confirm, invite friend. Can I get this going? Hello, invite.
I'm joining.
Kyle. There you go. All right. Also, what can I buy at the shop?
We need
Power washers. Nope, can't buy power washers yet. What about equipment? Can I buy any sort of equipment for the new power washer that I have? I can get some equipment. Ooh, but what do I want? I'll get the long extension and the soap nozzle. Those are good buys. And then I can probably get soap. Sure. Yeah, let's get soap, sure. That'll do it. Alright. I think I'm good there. Hello, how's it going?
Hello. What happened at the skate park?
I don't know. Good lord. Good lord. No, this is horrible.
What kind of skating was going on here?
It's like they were playing skate tag, but instead of using graffiti, they just shit everywhere.
I mean, there's some graffiti here too.
Yeah, but it's covered up by all the shit.
You see, they started using graffiti, but then they ran out of paint, so they had to use their own shit.
Had to use their own feces.
There's
Oh,
a
good
soccer
lord.
ball over here.
Why is
It's
there...
completely spotless. It's a completely spotless soccer ball.
Okay. It's completely spotless, and it's in the middle of a skate park. Sure. I mean, I don't know what you were gonna do. Are you gonna play skate soccer? The goal is to try and hit it. Oh, anyone ever explain to you what kind of compound they use for structures such as these? No. No, nobody has ever told me because, honestly, I don't think anybody really gives a shit. Sorry, was that mean? That was probably mean. Whatever, I don't care. Well, skateboarding. It's something that I actually wanted to learn and never got around to actually learning it.
I never really cared.
I like skateboarding. Like, I enjoy the Tony Hawk games and everything. I just...
Skate 3.
And, yeah, Skate 3. Skate 3's fun. But I just never got around to actually learning how to skateboard. Never got around to it. Now I just need to get this gate clean. Clean the gate. Where is the dirt on this bad boy? Oh, it's everywhere.
Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off.
Goodbye, dirt and grime. Alright. The gate is completely clean.
Congratulations.
Alright, now start working on the rest of the stuff. What do I even want to start on? Good lord, there's just so much to this place. Oh boy. This is gonna be something. Alright, well, I guess I'll work on the walls.
How?
Just gotta get over it nice and slow. Nice and slow. Wipe it all away, just like that.
What dirt's there? There's no dirt on there. You're lying to me.
The game never lies. I forgot all about my extension. Give me my long extension. There it is. There's the bad boy. Alright, time to get this bad boy clean. With the power of the extension.
Finally, I got that railing.
Did you get that railing?
Yes, I did.
Nice. Proud of you.
Thank you.
That's what I pay you for. Alright, so what is our topic for today?
That is a good question.
I know, like, this is a skate park and everything, and we kind of talked about skateboarding and stuff, but I really don't know what else to talk about in that topic.
Neither do I. None of us really know anything about skateboarding or have any stories about skateboarding.
Nope. Nothing. I've got nothing. Well, I mean, there's other types of skating, you know, we can talk about roller skating. We've done that. And I guess,
It's been a while.
there's biking too, I guess. But I don't know, nothing very interesting. Have you ever gotten, like, I don't know if you've ever gotten injured per se, but have you ever gotten, like, hurt really bad that you remember? Like, just anything in general.
Probably. Let me think. Man, I've never broken any bones or anything, so.
Right. No, it doesn't have to be broken bones or anything. Just really bad injuries, like pain wise.
Well, there was. Let's see. I don't know how old I was, but I was young. I was fairly young, and let's see, we were at. I think it was some kind of flea market, and I don't quite remember some store, and they had like fire rings set out on the floor, and I thought it'd be fun to like hop through them, and I was hopping through them, and somehow I ended up tripping on one of them, fell over, landed on my face, knocked out my two front teeth, blood everywhere. Was not fun.
Oh, wow. So you also had a time where you knocked out your teeth.
I did.
And were these also permanent teeth?
No, that was when I was still a kid, so they were still my baby teeth, thank God.
Oh, well, lucky you. Because obviously you know the story of me and my brother out on the porch and everything. And when
Yeah.
I got my teeth knocked out, it wasn't even my teeth were knocked out. No, because, well, obviously you know this, but for people who don't know, it was me and my brother out on the porch at my grandma's house, and my brother, my brother and I can't remember what the deal was. I don't know if we had just argued or we were fighting or what it was, but he
Probably
came at
just brotherly fighting.
yeah, probably. But he had come at me with this big flagpole looking thing, and he was gonna swing it at me. So, and there's no place to take cover out there, so I just decided to hang off the edge of this porch, this balcony looking thing. Um, and it was working until it wasn't, and then he tried to swing at me while I was hanging, so I thought, oh, I'll just jump out of the way to dodge him. Well, I successfully jumped out of the way to dodge him, but I didn't think about how I was going to land at the end of this. So, I ended up landing face first into the sidewalk below me, smashing my two front teeth, and it had just left this big gap in the middle of my front teeth. And I remember it was like, it didn't hurt as bad as you would think, but I think that's just because of the pure shock of it all. And I'd also hit my lip and was bleeding, so I had run around the house inside screaming, and then I just dropped to the floor because I had lost so much blood, and probably the hit probably wasn't very helpful either. But I remember that, and then after that it was just kind of flashes, because I remember dropping to the floor, and then suddenly, like, all I remember is that suddenly we're in the hospital. I think I actually did have a minor concussion, if I'm not mistaken. But it wasn't a huge deal or anything. And then my dentist was thankfully kind enough to come like middle of the night at that point, and check me out and everything. And yeah, that's the story of me smashing my two front teeth. Fun times. This is a good topic.
Were they though?
I mean, no, but I mean, I guess you kind of learn a lesson, and the lesson from that is it's Dorian's fault. Like, even to this day, I'm kind of like, what was I supposed to do? That was not my fault. That was 100% his fault for coming at me with a freaking flagpole. What was I gonna do? Just sit there and take the flagpole? Maybe my teeth would have gotten smashed anyways.
Let's see, I get hit by this flagpole, or I can try to move out of the way and hope for the best.
Yeah, so I decided I'm gonna try and avoid the flagpole as much as I possibly can. And I did. I avoided the flagpole. But but something else ended up substituting for it.
Yes, I successfully dodged. Oh shit.
It's like dodging a bullet just to end up falling into lava.
I think some of the worst things, though, like when you knock the air out of yourself when you're just sitting there like...
Oh. Yeah, absolutely. Because I remember, I mean, there were countless times when something like that would happen. And I remember always thinking, this is it. I'm dead. This is how I die. And then eventually the air would come back into my lungs and I'd be like, oh, I'm okay. How did I survive? Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting to think about because, like, some of the injuries that kids go through when they fall down the stairs or you fall off the side of a slide or something and you cry, but then you get up and you're fine. But it's like you something like that happens now as an adult and you're either getting seriously injured or you're dead. It's so interesting to think about. Because, like, kids, they're resilient to a lot of things. It's very interesting to think about. I still think back to, like, the slide bouncer.
Oh god, that's hilarious.
I still love that video. It's kind of cringy, but it's just it's a masterpiece. It's absolutely beautiful, and I love that we did that. It was still at this era where we were still kind of trying to figure out what we wanted to do. We knew we wanted to have, like, a channel and everything. We just didn't know what we wanted to do quite yet. So we just kind of experimented with so many different things. Because I remember, it was so many different ideas. Like, okay, we're gonna try doing stunts, and then I had another video where it was just random stuff happening at the fair. So it was like, all right, maybe we're just basically a comedy channel, you know? And,
Our channels were just whatever the fuck we felt like doing, essentially.
yeah, and that's essentially like something that you know I really started to embrace more because I've gotten to this point where I really don't care what other people think. Like I still get like occasionally I would get like negative comments and stuff like you shouldn't have done this, you should do this. And it's like, okay, I'm not going to suck up to you because I want to do stuff that I actually enjoy instead of worrying about what other people like. Like, yes, I want people to enjoy my videos, but I also want them to enjoy what I'm, you know, I want to be able to entertain people while simultaneously enjoying myself. And if people end up not liking it, oh well, I still had fun doing it.
Right. Remember the great Dr. Pepper War?
Oh, good lord. Now that is cringy right there. That's just plain cringy.
That's called being bored at football practice.
Yeah. You have nothing else to do, so you make random videos. I guess at the time it was kind of fun, but
Yeah.
it's still just so weird watching something like that now because it is very cringy.
Well, what do we talk about now?
Good question. Uh, hmm.
All right. What do you think was the most annoying drama that we've ever had?
Hmm. Annoying drama.
There's been a lot.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how to narrow it down to just one, because so many were just horrible, horrible things that happened, and I hated it, and stressed me out, stressed you out, I'm sure. Um, Probably, maybe one of the biggest things was band drama.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Especially because, they're not just. They were not just bandmates who we had met. They had already been our friends before, and currently they are not our friends now. At least I'm not friends with them. Um,
I still wonder why.
yeah, I don't know. But I'm definitely not friends with them, and I don't know if I ever will be friends with them. But I just remember so many different issues when it came to all that type of stuff. Um, like one of them was the whole. Okay, I'm not gonna say their names because you know. Um, Even though I am extremely upset with them still, um, I have more respect. I have morals, and I'm not going to share names because I have morals. Anyways, let's just say Mr. Mr. McDonald.
Donald.
Mr. McDonald was in our band for a while, and he had taken some photos with us, and we had already talked about making a video and everything. So we did, and we show him in there for like a split second because we kind of wanted to give him credit and everything. I thought we were doing the right thing, by giving him credit, and turns out he was not too happy with us giving him credit. So he got all snappy, wanting us to take the video down and everything. And I refused to do that because, he's in the band. He should be okay with being in a video and everything. And, the thing is, we're not super popular kids to begin with. It's not like nobody knew us, but we weren't jocks or anything like that to begin with, So, but the thing that really irritated me is, he was so concerned about his social life. And even now, I'm just thinking back, and I'm like, what social life did you even have? None of us had that big of a social life.
I don't know, like that whole argument, though, it was stupid. Like, what was stupid about it is that, but he wouldn't even give us a reason why he wanted to be out of the video. He just kept bitching about us not taking him out of the video.
Right. Yeah. Like, if he gave us, like, a genuine reason, like, if he had given us a genuine reason, like, I don't know, maybe he's camera shy or something. Like, alright, fine. You're camera shy, you're not ready to be shown in videos just yet. Fair enough. I would have gone back and re-edited it if that was the case. He did not say that, though. And therefore, I felt no need to take it down because I felt like he was just bitching about nothing.
Because he was.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe I was in the wrong. Who knows? I don't feel like I was. But maybe I was. Who knows? It was high school stuff, though. And, we also had the talent show and everything. Something that we asked him if he would like to be part of, and he refused. So at that point, we just stopped relying on him to even be a part of the band altogether. Because again, it was something that would affect his social life, as he put it. And then there's let's see, trying to find a name. Let's call him Dracula.
Okay.
So so
Don't think you deserving of being called Dracula, but okay.
so Dracula. Okay, so anyways, Dracula. He decided to be in our band and everything. And to be honest,
he was one of the founding members.
Yes, he was kind of one of the founding members of the band and everything. And it seemed for a while that he was actually going to play a big part in the band. But then he started being kind of unreliable when it came to practices and performances and stuff like that. Like, I remember one example was he couldn't come to practice because he had sunburn.
Huh.
And I'm thinking, because he had sunburn on his legs, right?
I think
And
so, something like that.
and I'm thinking, okay, um, no big deal. Why don't you just come in and you don't even have to use the kick. You know, no bass drum. We'll just kick the bass drum out for today. We'll just get the rest of the drum figured out. Without the bass drum, we can do that. And he was just like, no, no, man, I can't do it, man. Sunburn really bad, man. And I get it. Like, I've had really bad, like, recently, I've had that really bad sunburn. I had blisters all over my shoulders and everything. It was really bad. I get it. But at the same time, we've, you signed up to be a rocker and everything. You're in a metal band. You're signing up to be a musician. A metal musician at that. And metal musicians are often known for, you know, toughing through a lot of crap. Like, Zakk Wylde cutting his finger open, his hand open, and still shredding away on the guitar. So, I don't know. I feel like maybe you should kind of tough through a sunburn on your legs. And honestly, how bad could that sunburn have been? Because I knew that he rarely ever wore shorts. He mostly wore jeans all the time. So, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like maybe he was full of crap, or maybe it wasn't that bad.
I mean, I will say that he did have stuff going on at home, but the fact that he wasn't like just being honest with us and was just giving bullshit excuses the entire time was kind of annoying.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand, like, you know, there are certain things that people don't want to disclose about their personal life and everything. I I get that, but at the same time, like, he could have at least been like, "Hey man, there's a lot of stuff going on at home and I just need some time to figure stuff out." Something like that. That's all he would have
Yeah.
to say. He didn't have to go into any details at all. He could have just simply said, "I'm going through stuff at home." I would have completely understood that.
All right.
But, just kind of bullcrapping his way through stuff. And, honestly, I feel like even when he did come to practices, he just kind of goofed around the entire time. And, I understand I understand that we we were all friends and everything, and everybody wants to hang out, but also we signed up to be in a band and everything, and being in a band takes a lot of work. So sometimes you just have to buckle in and really work your ass off. And it just didn't seem like he wanted to put forth that kind of effort.
Do.
Huh?
It all ended with him moving, so there wasn't much we could do anyway.
Yeah, I know. But, you know, that's all stuff in the past and everything, and things are a lot better now. You know, I'm no longer talking to them, so I'm not stressed out about any of them. And honestly, things are a lot better now for me. Feel like it
I still try to
definitely.
be friends with them.
Yeah, and I get that. Man, I cannot put forth that kind of effort that they never
I
want
wonder why
to.
they still do things.
I don't know. Um, I just, I cannot put that kind of effort into something that they're not going to reciprocate, you know?
Yeah. Oh. But anyway, in my opinion, though, I'd say probably the most annoying drama was probably um don't know if I should name names or not, but
What does the name start
the
with?
bitch it starts with an A, and I think you know who I'm talking about.
Ah, okay. We'll say her name is, um, um, Amelia Earhart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, unlike Amelia Earhart, she did not get lost.
Yeah, that was crazy stuff. Honestly, I don't know if we should go into too much detail with that one because that one is just absolutely crazy. But let's just say she was a bit crazy. And I regret my decision for putting up with her in the first place. And I've definitely learned my lesson. Lots of drama, lots of trauma. But I guess the good things when it comes to all that trauma and stuff is you get some good ideas when it comes to writing songs.
That's true.
You just let it all out into the lyrics.
Moving that ladder with telekinesis.
Place the ladder. There we go. Come on, climb the ladder now. Climb. Why is it that I cannot climb you? There we go. Get up there. What in the world? Why is this so difficult? Get up there. Up. Alright, that ain't working. I don't know why that's not working, but it ain't working. This ain't working either. Cool.
What's the problem up there?
For some reason I can't hop on top of this bad boy. So I'm just gonna have to stay on the ladder.
Whoa!
God. Why'd you fly?
I don't know. How did you place the? I don't know if you placed the ladder on top of me and it sent me into the air or what, but I just flew.
I guess you're not supposed to put ladders on top of people because it will cause them to fly away. I guess you had a close encounter with death, and that was you almost making it to heaven.
Ah, you bastard! You put the ladder in my way.
Sorry, I had to move it out of my way. I will say though, like, I am definitely in a much happier place when it comes to, I mean, life in general, but also, like, just music in general. I'm definitely proud of what it's become, even though, like, we're not playing big gigs or anything. We're just making the music that we want to make, and I love that because it was not really that before. You know, it was kind of, you know, like, especially with that first album. Number one, we didn't have the equipment that we needed, just had our phones, and you know, it was just kind of disappointing to just kind of listen to it, and it didn't really have the sound that we wanted, and we just kind of had to deal with it because that's all we had. But now our music has since then grown and evolved into something a lot bigger, and you know, I'm truly proud of it. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You seem to be stuck. Think about how long this was gonna take.
Oh, what did you expect?
I don't know what I was expecting. What were you gonna say?
Say that that Amazon Lord of the Rings series starts next month.
Yes, it does, and I'm very excited to see it.
Rings of Power.
Yes, I really hope that it ends up being good. There's been a lot of people talking that think that it might not be good, but personally, I feel like maybe it's just a bunch of critics being like, "Oh, you can't beat you can't beat the Peter Jackson trilogy. You'll never beat that." And like, you know, I might be inclined to agree with that somewhat, but also I don't feel like it's going to be. I don't know if that means that it's going to be terrible. I mean, it's kind of like, like the Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson trilogy is absolutely a cinematic masterpiece. And then, like, for example, they made Peter Jackson made his adaptation of The Hobbit and everything, and that was good, but not as good. Not as many people cared for The Hobbit as much as they did Lord of the Rings. And I'll be honest, I didn't care for it as much either. Like but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. I still enjoyed it for what it was. Um, so I'm I'm going into this new Amazon Lord of the Rings series with an open mind. Um, and it's going to be very interesting because we're going to see a lot more, because it's not just the title may be Lord of the Rings, but it's not actually taking place during the Third Age and everything. So we're going to be seeing a lot more that we haven't seen already. So I'm honestly pretty hopeful of this series.
Yeah.
To really knock it out of the park, you know.
Hopefully it will be good.
I'm sure it will be. Again, I don't think it's going to be as good as the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but
Probably not.
I think it can, I think it still has potential to be a very good story that is definitely worth being told.
It might not be better than Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, but it'll probably be better than the animated Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, maybe. I did actually do some thinking back to that movie, and I will say, like, probably the biggest reason that, um, like, obviously, I had seen the Peter Jackson uh, movies first, so seeing the animated movie after seeing that, and definitely seeing that it has aged quite a few years, I think that may have been the biggest reason why it's not that great. Because maybe when it first came out, that may have been when it was really in its prime and everything. Because I think the animated movie came out like back in the 70s, I think. So,
Something like that.
long time ago. And maybe back then it was good. Um, now, I'm not saying that it's like bad, like nobody should ever watch it because it's really bad. No, I'm not saying that because it's probably honestly closer to how the books were, and I've got to kind of give it credit there, you know?
Yeah.
Once again, I've been disappointed by uh, Crystal Dynamics.
Why? What now?
Well, they once again. So there was a whole thing being. There was a teaser again about Soul River being remastered. And this time they said, oh, it's going to be a fan production and everything. And it's like, okay. So Crystal Dynamics is not actually going to make it. Interesting. So it's going to be a fan project. That's cool. But then it actually gets released today, and it turns out it's not even an actual remaster. It's just an HD texture pack That's all it is.
Oh, that's lame.
So I don't even know how you can actually call it a remaster if it's just a texture pack. It's the same game, just painted over. So I'm pretty disappointed because they've been talking about remastering it for years. And then after years, you release just a texture pack. It's basically, and I looked at the texture pack. It's basically like the Dreamcast graphics, but they smoothed it out even more, which is cool and everything. Like, it does look a little bit better, but everything's still blocky, you know, because it's a game that came out in 99 and 2000. So I'm a little bit upset about that. Like, if you were going to make a texture pack, just say that you were going to make a texture pack. I appreciate the texture pack, but I still want a real remaster.
What I feel like they should do is they should take Soul Reaver, Soul Reaver 2, and Defiance, and make those into like a remastered trilogy.
That would be cool if they could do that.
I don't know if Blood Omen or Blood Omen 2 would really need to be included in that to do like a Legacy Game Remaster collection or something like that, or if you just Soul Reaver and then Soul Reaver 2 and Defiance.
I think, here's what I think. I don't even know if they should waste their time with Blood Omen 2, because I'll be honest, like, I don't think Blood Omen 2 is a terrible Legacy of Kain game, but it is definitely the black sheep of the Legacy of Kain series, because the storyline is something that I don't like about it. The story is weird to me. Now, the combat I do like. The combat system in Blood Omen 2, that was what they really did right in that game. And that's why, like, it is still a game I enjoy playing when playing the Legacy of Kain series. So, here's what I think. I think they should completely remake the original Blood Omen game, because obviously them just remastering the original Blood Omen is not going to be enough, because it's like an old top-down game. It's basically like playing like the really old Legend of Zelda games, and I don't think a game like that would really work in today's setting and everything. I don't think a game like that would work. So what I think they should do is completely remake Blood Omen 1, but give it the same like combat system as Blood Omen 2. And then I think that would be perfect for the first Blood Omen game. As for the rest of them, I'd say they're pretty much already great. I think that the first Soul Reaver game could probably be remastered. Maybe get a slight touch up on the controls, just a little bit. Because I will say, like, platforming in the game is a little difficult. And, the combat can be a little bit too easy sometimes. The only part of the combat that I would really work on is the throwing mechanic, because sometimes you'd be aiming in one direction and then Raziel would end up throwing them a completely different direction. I think it's a little bit of a glitch that wasn't quite worked out. So that would be one thing that I definitely fix about the original Soul Reaver game, because other than that, it's a masterpiece. Now, one of the things about Soul Reaver 2, also a great game, I definitely liked that in Soul Reaver 2, they added more to the combat, but it still felt a little bit limited, because basically they give you a light attack and then a heavy attack, and that's cool and all, but it didn't feel like you could really merge the attacks that much. So maybe adding like some sort of like combo system would be pretty cool. And another thing, like I remember in the first Soul Reaver game, they had the glyph magic that you could use in the first Soul Reaver game. But then in Soul Reaver 2, they completely scrapped that whole idea. And I think that in Soul Reaver 2, they should keep the glyph magic. But obviously, I feel like the glyph magic might have different uses then, because obviously you have like the sunlight glyph. That's not going to be useful when you fight up against humans, but it could be useful when going up against like demons or something. But and then Defiance, like I enjoy Defiance, but my biggest gripe with Defiance is the fact that they completely got rid of like open world, and that's kind of a bummer to me, because I enjoyed the open world of Soul Reaver, and that's my biggest gripe there, is I wish they would have kept some sort of like open world in the game. Instead, what they did was just kind of load you into the next area. But yeah, like I feel like maybe like if they were to ever actually make a remake or a remaster of the Legacy of Kain series, they would definitely need to do more than just enhance the graphics. They would need to fix up some controls and stuff like that too. Because I love the Legacy of Kain games, but I could see things really going downhill for the Legacy of Kain all over again if it was just an enhancement of the graphics and not the actual gameplay.
You see, the thing is, though, that they technically already have the graphics in those games, because they had those really cool cinematic cutscenes.
Right. Yeah. See, that's the thing. And to this day, like the original, so Soul Reaver 1 and Soul Reaver 2's original cinematic cutscenes in the intros are really good. For the time, they look stunning. And even now, they're like out of this world intros. Something that even some newer games can't even replicate quite the same way, because there were just so much put into those intro cutscenes. But yeah, if they could make the entire game look the way that they do in the intro cutscenes, that would the game would look beautiful.
Oh yeah.
But, again, like, I don't know if they're actually going to go through with remaking any of the games or not. I do think, like, they can't continue it. They can't just randomly continue the Legacy of Kain series, because that would not make any sort of sense whatsoever. They would first need to remake the series before even thinking about continuing, because it's just been so long since the last Legacy of Kain game, which came out in 2003.
Oh God. That's been almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Next year it will be 20 years.
You feel old yet?
Oh, yes, I do feel old. I do feel very old. And like, I remember growing up playing these games and stuff, and, I do wish that the Legacy of Kain got better treatment. I am glad that they did not go through with making Dead Sun, because just the trailer of that game makes me want to vomit.
Huh.
And I'm glad that that game was canceled, because, my God, it is just horrible. Like, as a huge fan of Legacy of Kain, everything that they did in that trailer, showing off the game, was just like, it was like acid on my eyeballs. Like, there was, first of all, how are you going to call it a Legacy of Kain game when Kain is not even involved at all? And then you add this completely, quote-unquote, different character, but he's also a wraith like Raziel. And that doesn't even really make any sense, because Raziel seems to be unique from most of the spectral creatures. And then suddenly there's another one that just does not sit well with me.
Yeah.
And then one of the biggest things, oh my God, was dialogue.
Oh boy, dialogue.
Because Legacy of Kain is known for having absolutely beautifully crafted dialogue. Something that's like almost, it's almost like Shakespearean almost. And then they, in Dead Sun, they just took the dialogue and then they just took a crap all over it. Like, I remember one of the lines was, "Fuck you, vampire." Oh my God. Beautiful dialogue.
Now we've gone from Legacy of Kain to generic vampire game.
Basically, that is basically what it was. With just, let's make just a generic vampire game. And from what they showed and everything, it was so weird because, like, they got, like, the vampire gifts, and it would seem like the guy got his vampire gifts in, like, 5 minutes within the game, and it's like, what in the world? That seems way too easy. It's like 5 minutes into the game, and you're giving him wings already. It's really dumb.
I mean, Raziel had wings in the beginning.
Yeah, but his weren't actually wings. In Dead Sun, they gave him, like, actually wings. Well, yes, Raziel had actual wings, but, you know, when you were playing, they had already been burned and everything, so you couldn't actually use your wings, you could only use them to glide. But in Dead Sun, they get to a point where they're like, yep, let's give them wings. And then you could just fly around and attack your enemies from above. Which sounds cool, but again, like, it just seems too soon to have that kind of power.
Remember when we wanted to make a Legacy of Kain movie?
Oh, yeah, I remember. We were really thinking it out, too, you know? And it just never happened because we didn't realize what reality was like.
We had like a good bit of our lines memorized and everything.
Yes, we did. Lots and lots of lines. So much put into it. It's crazy because, like, how much of the dialogue we actually managed to remember. I can still remember some of it to this day, you know. I can remember most of it. Like, there might be a few lines that I might forget, but for the most part, I have a general idea of what was said and everything.
You know what's weird?
Hmm.
I got Spider-Man 2 on my GameCube, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, after you've played, like, the PS4 Spider-Man games and stuff, and you go back to that, oh my god, it's so weird.
Yeah, I know, because I ended up getting Spider-Man 2 for my PlayStation 2 at one point. And it is weird because, like, it's not a bad game. Like, even after playing the PS4 Spider-Man and everything, and going back to the Spider-Man 2 game, it is not a bad game at all, but it's so strange because, you know, it's just so... You could tell there's, like, so much work put into it. And they actually did do a pretty good job at making the web swinging and everything. It's still really good, and still, I would still consider it a really good Spider-Man game. Um, Obviously, Spider-Man PS4 has it beat now, but it's still definitely up there as far as like Spider-Man and probably even superhero games in general.
Yeah. I think Spider-Man 2 was like before Spider-Man PS had like the best swinging mechanic.
Yeah. And it does. It does have a really good swinging mechanic because it just, like, even just attaching yourself to like a flagpole or something, and seeing him like just spin around on that flagpole and everything. That is genius. Because I remember, what was it? I think it was the Amazing Spider-Man game. And I'll give the Amazing Spider-Man video game a little bit of credit because it had pretty good combat. It was the web swinging that didn't make any sense to me because you would be far above the buildings, and somehow he's web swinging. He's web swinging
Yeah,
from
and
the
that's
sky.
like in the first Spider-Man game, like Spider-Man won the game. You're just basically flying through the air, shooting webs out of your hands.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the Spider-Man 1 game at the store one time, and I was tempted to buy it. I just kind of wanted to see what it was like. I was tempted to buy it. I didn't buy it. Maybe I'll buy it at some point. I don't know. But who knows? Maybe it's good. Maybe it's still good. But yeah, that web mechanic, not so good.
And that's why Spider-Man 2 comes around. They actually give physics to the web swinging.
Right.
I do like how they got the actors from the movies though to actually come back and play their roles in the game.
Right, yeah. And that is what's very interesting about like early 2000s games is like that was definitely the era of when they were making video games based on movies, which is something that they don't really do anymore. And I'm not really
Right.
sure why that is because, I mean, obviously there were some games that were kind of meh, but some of them I think are actually just really good games, even though they're based on movies and stuff. There's some that are still really good, like the Spider-Man ones, and the Lord of the Rings video games are pretty good. Specifically, Return of the King. That one's really good. Two Towers is pretty good. My only gripe with that one is there's not a lot of characters. You only have Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli to play. And technically there's Isildur, but who cares about Isildur?
How dare you? You're the one that defeated Sauron in the beginning.
Yeah.
Fell off the ring.
But then he keeps the ring for himself, so...
Well,
So, yeah, he kind of lost all his honor there. Let's see. Let's see. There was a Matrix video game that I liked. Matrix Path of Neo. That's a good one. Enter the Matrix. Not so good. Enter the Matrix was very frustrating to play. But I liked Path of Neo. Because that one is like you're actually playing the you're playing as Neo through the entire game and everything, and you're playing actual missions from like the movie and stuff, and it's actually a lot of fun to play.
There was also the Fantastic Four game. That was pretty fun.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I had the first Fantastic Four game. It was it wasn't too bad, and it was interesting because it gave you more than just the missions that were on the movie. It gave you like other missions too that are not in the movie. So if you felt like you were fighting several different types of villains and stuff, it wasn't just Doctor Doom.
I have an X-Men game that's based off of uh, the original X-Men trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty good, but it's kind of weird because it takes place between X-Men 2 and X-Men 3.
Oh,
It's kind
weird.
of place in a strange. It's kind. Also, you have three characters that you play as. You play as Wolverine, which obviously that's fine. Wolverine's fine. Everyone's played Wolverine. But then you have Iceman and Nightcrawler as the other two that you get to play as, which is kind of weird, but okay.
Right, like those are cool X-Men and everything, but not the ones I would have picked. Like at that point, you might as well just have all the X-Men because why only have 3 X-Men and make only one of them the good one that you really want to play as? Because I'm sorry,
I mean,
but
kind of.
Iceman and Nightcrawler. I mean, Nightcrawler I could probably play as, but let me just think about this for a second. You know, like when you're playing a video game and you have a character that has really cool powers and everything, obviously there's got to be some sort of limiter when it comes to playing it because if you play as like Nightcrawler, for example, you know, like they're not just gonna let you teleport wherever you want to go, surely. Like there's got to be some sort of limiter, I would imagine.
Kinda. Also, it does. The X-Men that they picked kind of also do. When you think about it, they make sense in context with where the movies are at that point.
Oh, that's cool. I think Amazing Spider-Man was kind of like that too. But Amazing Spider-Man was like it was weird because like it took place after the first Amazing Spider-Man movie and the lizard was helping you.
It's kind of fun. I was like in the first Amazing Spider-Man game, they introduced Rhino as a cross species.
Right,
But then
right.
Amazing Spider-Man to the movie, they introduced Rhino and it's just a guy in a mech suit.
Yeah. That's very weird.
Oh, God.
I wonder if the guys who made the game were hitting themselves in the head for that. Like, damn it, our game doesn't make sense now.
Hold up. There's also X-Men Origins Wolverine the game. I never played that, but
I've never played it either.
X-Men Origins.
uh, I had this Monsters Inc. game. It was fun. You didn't actually play like through the movie. It was like so it's interesting. This Monsters Inc. game that I have. You play like Mike and Sully are going into like orientation. So it's like a training course for Monsters Inc. And you're playing through that, which is very interesting. Huh. It's a fun game, though. It is actually legitimately fun. Because there's like these toys that you gotta fight. So there's combat, and then there's these little things called nerves, which are basically like robot kids, and you basically gotta go out. But you gotta. What's interesting is you gotta collect a certain amount of ooze. Before you can scare certain nerves. And then you just you go out and you scare these robot kids, and then when you get a certain amount, you win the level basically.
Weird.
It's fun though.
Yeah.
I will say the only thing about it was you couldn't really replay it. You know, it didn't have any replayability. Once you beat the game, it was just done basically.
Yeah. I used to have a Toy Story 3 game on my Wii a long time ago.
Oh, did you?
I did. It was fun.
I did. I went out and got the first Toy Story game for the Sega Genesis.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's so weird. And it's not like obviously it's for the Sega Genesis, so it's whatever. But it's kind of just kind of like a platformer basically.
Do Lego games count as movie games?
I mean, there is the Lego movie Lego game. They have that. I've never played those, but I'm pretty sure they work like any other normal Lego game.
But does things like Lego Star Wars and Lego Indiana Jones and things like that count?
I mean, I guess technically, yeah. Those are pretty good, actually. Like, honestly, those are probably some of the best, honestly, because obviously I've played like Star Wars games, like I've got Star Wars Episode 3 and everything, and it's a pretty good game, but like Lego Star Wars, that is like amazing. Like, you can't beat Lego Star Wars. And then the Lego Indiana Jones game. I mean, there are Indiana Jones games, but none that are actually based on the movies themselves. But Lego Indiana Jones, I used to love playing that all the time.
It was so much fun.
And then, of course, you got Lego Lord of the Rings, which is also awesome. Probably one of my favorite Lord of the Rings games in general. Which is so funny that when you think about that, because like that's one of the best, and it's a Lego game.
I will say though, the thing about some of the older Lego games, that some like the ones that don't have voice acting, it's just kind of weird. You
It
just get
is,
noises.
yeah, you just all you're left with is huh, 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 huh. That is it. That's all you get. It's just a bunch of
Like I
noises.
like I started playing through the Lego Harry Potter games, and that's just you just get noises like, huh?
Yeah. Those are pretty good too. I think there are actually Harry Potter games too that
Yeah,
uh,
there are.
have movie video game things. I've never actually played them, but I'm pretty sure they're no different than like Lord of the Rings or something.
Huh. They do have a new Lego Star Wars game out, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about that, saying it's really good. I haven't got it yet, but I wonder if that's like basically like a new complete saga or something.
I would imagine. It seems like it could be.
I mean, obviously it's based around the Skywalkers, so I mean, I would imagine it's basically the complete saga.
I don't care how good of a game it is. It can't make me like the sequels.
Right. Yeah, I do. I still don't care. I mean, I don't necessarily hate the sequels, but they're just not. To me, they're not worthy of rewatchability. You know, I'm not. I can't go back and rewatch them because I didn't actually enjoy watching them that much. Especially that last one.
Oh, that was bad.
That last one was just. That was so brutal to watch. Like, I would still choose the prequels over the sequels any day.
Oh yeah, the prequels are way better than the sequels.
I would still choose Jar Jar Binks over the
Oh god.
sequels. I don't know. Some people might hate me for saying that, but I am sticking by it.
God.
I would say that, like, honestly, probably the only prequel movie that I really hated was Attack of the Clones. I did not really care that much for Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Phantom Menace is all right except for Jar Jar Binks. But Attack of the Clones, Anakin really got fucking annoying. Which is sad because he's supposed to be, he obviously he's Darth Vader. He's supposed to be a very major character and everything, and he just got really annoying in that second movie.
Oh god.
Episode 3 though, I love episode 3. Like that would like honestly, why didn't they just do what they did in episode 3 to begin with? Cuz that one they did perfectly.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Oh.
Looks like it's all just mostly ground from here.
Just about. Yeah, I feel like though, like the sequels were essentially they redid the same thing they did in the original trilogy.
Right. And it kind of felt a little lazy, honestly. And the way that, like, obviously I felt like they were hinting at Palpatine coming back and everything, but it was just kind of lazy how, like, 1 second he's not here and then boom, there he is. Like, okay, there was no lead up to that. He's just suddenly there. It's just kind of lazy writing.
They just weren't good.
Yeah. I really don't care for those sequels that much. And then having Princess Leia fly through the air. Right.
Oh.
Because the thing is, like, what's so weird about that is, like, number one, obviously, like, in the movies, in the original trilogy, there's obviously some sort of force link between Luke and Leia. That much is obvious. However, we have never once ever seen Leia getting any sort of training when it comes to the Force. And then suddenly she's just able to pull herself back to the ship with the Force out of nowhere. I'm sorry, but no. I don't care what kind of excuses you throw at me. I do not believe it for a second.
Well, apparently all this time Leia was a Jedi Master and we never knew it.
I guess so. I did end up. You know what I end up I can't talk. You know what I ended up finding at the Goodwill, though?
What?
I found the original Star Wars trilogy on VHS.
Oh Lord.
I mean, honestly, though, that is a pretty good find because that means that most likely it's going to be completely unedited. So you're going to get, like, actual original footage instead of the new special edition of Star Wars that was all redone and everything. So that's pretty cool, actually.
But who watches VHS anymore?
I do, and you're gonna have to deal with that.
Who even knows what VHS is anymore?
I do, and you're gonna have to deal with that. Also, this will also blow your mind. I found a cassette player and I bought it.
Oh.
And it works.
Huh. Well, there you go.
It was only $3. I do actually want to collect some cassettes I want to get like some old Megadeth, Metallica cassettes. And there's nothing people can do to stop me. I know there's probably people out there like, what in the world is a cassette? And you still use cassettes? Yes, and I use vinyls and I use CDs, and why don't you just lay off? I like having something physical. Streaming is nice and all, but, you know, I like having physical copies in my hands.
Same. I have the first Spider-Man movie on VHS.
Nice. We got a lot of stuff on VHS. I've even got, like, I ended up holding on to this because it's actually pretty interesting. But do you remember having, like, Nickelodeon movies, and they would always be like an orange tape?
Yeah.
I've got the Rugrats movie, and it's an orange tape, and I held on to it because, yeah, because that's such a cool thing to have, and I keep these things because I want to share these with Evie. You know, I want her to, like, I want her to know about these things, and then, like, when everybody else is just gonna be like, what in the world is a VHS? What's a cassette? You know? And she'll know. She'll be one of the few kids nowadays who will actually know what that is. It's going to be very interesting because, like, this is, I don't know why they don't really teach this yet, but I feel like eventually they might start teaching about stuff like that, and, you know, like, maybe they'll start teaching this, like, maybe in history or some other class or something, like, does anybody know about the VHS? And then, you know, like, she'll know about the VHS, because I'm one of the few people who actually still owns a VHS. There's just something about having old stuff, you know. It's just, it's kind of satisfying, you know.
Yeah.
Just having stuff that,
Like, I like to.
just having stuff that most people don't own.
Yeah. Like, I like to collect old classic video game consoles like my fucking Atari.
Right. Yeah. And that's really cool to have something like that too. And it actually works and everything, and you're able to actually get some use out of it. That is really that's really cool. I feel like there's not a lot of people that have that same sort of enjoyment of just collecting something. It's like a. I know some people may not think of it like this, but it's a part of history. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like collecting ancient pieces of armor or something like that, but it's still history. It's the history of like technological advancement and stuff, and just seeing how far we've come. And it's like, yep, we used to have to do this thing, and now we use these things, and this is what you used to have to do to keep this thing in good shape and everything. It's a lot of work that you had to put in some of that, into some of that stuff. But
Yeah.
it's very, and it's nostalgic too, because some of this stuff we actually grew up using. Like, we grew up using VCRs. We grew up uh, playing like PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 and stuff, where you had to worry about the disc getting scratched up and stuff like that.
Yeah. But like the the PlayStation 2, all you needed was like an 8 MB memory card, and you could hold like all your games just on that. And nowadays, you need like fucking 500, like a terabyte, a gigabyte to only hold like a couple games.
Right. And that's so crazy to think about, like how much storage is required for these newer games, because they're so much packed into one game now. When back then it was just like it was nothing in these old games. And it's so interesting to think about. And that's another thing, like memory cards. Like, we don't even have to use memory cards now, because most of the memory is already built into most of our gaming consoles. And you can get you can get like hard drives and stuff like that. But for the most part, like, you don't really have to use any other type of accessory and have to take it out and move it around and stuff like that. Like, again, most of it is already built in. And that's so interesting. Like, how far we've come.
Yeah. I started playing through Red Dead again.
Have you?
Yeah.
The original or the second?
Second.
Yeah. Honestly,
Some.
like, playing, like, like, obviously there is an option to just play through the missions separately without starting the game over, but for some reason it's so much more enjoyable to start over from scratch when playing Red Dead.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason, that is just so enjoyable. Like, I like... Because I feel like you really get a full taste of the story and everything.
Right. Lenny! Lenny! Funniest mission ever.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to also do more side quests and stuff in this one.
Yeah. There's still some that I have yet to figure out. Like the ones where you gotta go on, like, scavenger hunts and stuff like that.
You might as well just have to look up a... Pretty much just have to look up a guide for those.
Yeah. Why is this wall not clean? Oh, there's the problem.
There you go.
Alright, what else? What am I...
The floor, still.
Well, there's the floor, but is anything else? Rails. Alright, what rails? This rail. Found a rail that needs cleaned. Perfect.
Green Park, upper floor, wall. Oh, God.
Upper floor.
Upper floor? What do you mean by upper floor?
Oh, up here. Wall. Wait. Oh, I see. Give me that ladder. It's this wall over here. Alright, so where? Oh, come on. Nope, there it goes.
There we go.
Nice.
Hey.
We did it.
Whoa.
Look at that. Nice. Nice. Okay. We did it. We did it.
It took a while.
Yes, it did. Good lord. That was a long one. Very long.
You only got $175 out of that.
You what? You only got $175.
That's what it says my earnings were.
I've got 915.
Hacks. Call hacks.
What in the world? That's some bull crap, but whatever. Am I supposed to be able to share money with you? I don't know how. I don't know how to share money with you. Oh well. Anyways, I think I'm gonna call it here.